The Midnight Run at Hawin Lake. Stepney the Bluebell Engine loves running along his special railway. The passengers cheer louder for him than any diesel on the mainland.
Oh yes! Welcome, Stepney! Seriously, a very old steamer coming all the way from the Bluebell Railway to visit Sodor for a little while. What does he have that I don't?
Well, for one, he doesn't have such a ridiculous nickname, such as the one they gave you. Spam can.
Hey, don't call me that! Unless you want me to start calling you by your nickname, Bola!
Don't you dare start with that name again, you good-for-nothing bitch.
But the one place Stepney likes to be more is on the island of Sodor. It gives him a good long run and a chance to see his old friends and even make new friends. One early evening, during one of Stepney's visits, the Fat Controller had an important job for him.
Good evening, Stepney. We have a late-night passenger run to Hawin Lake. I'd like you to take it, please.
Yes, sir. Happy to do my bit, sir.
But Stepney was a little worried. He had never been to Hawin Lake before. But luckily, Henry was in the yard. He knew all about the station by the lake and happily gave Stepney directions.
What is it like at Harwin Lake, Henry?
Oh, the lake is lovely during the day, but it can get pretty spooky at night, especially in the fog.
Henry shuddered, remembering his incident at the lake. Stepney shivered as well, remembering his own incident in the fog.
Oh, don't worry. If you run into trouble, Old Bailey will help you out.
Old Bailey was the station master of Hawin Lake. He used to be a fogman, but he was made station master after saving Henry and his crew from a nasty accident. He was a loyal, dedicated worker who kept his station in working order and made sure that everyone, people and engines had a lovely visit. He was especially pleased to see Stepney arrive with his passengers later that night.
Right on time. Nice to finally meet you, Stepney.
Nice to meet you too, Mr. Bailey. Henry was right. The lake is lovely here.
Oh, it sure is, but it's much nicer during the day.
Heh, I'll bet. Well, glad I could help, Mr. Bailey, but I must be heading... Oh!
Oh dear. Sounds like you won't be heading anywhere now.
Why not, sir?
Whenever that owl hoots, a mist rolls in. It happens like clockwork and is never wrong. Well, I'll tell you what. There's a sighting with an old shed not too far from here. Why don't you stay there for the night until the fog lifts?
Oh, thank you, sir. I think I will.
Old Bailey was right, of course. As Stepney left the station, the fog came down, thick and fast. Soon, the Bluebell Engine backed into the old siding. The shed was old and kind of scruffy, but Stepney knew it was better than getting lost in the fog again. His driver and fireman tucked him away nice and safely. They said goodnight to the Bluebell Engine and went to bed in the nearby cottage. Once they were gone, Stepney was all alone on that empty siding. Or so he thought.
Heh. Well, hello there. So you're the one who brought the fog, eh? Hope you don't mind me spending the night here with you.
The owl hooted indignantly. Why did everyone always blame him when the fog came down? Soon, Stepney was enjoying a peaceful night's sleep. When...
Yeah, what's that? Hello? Is anyone there?
No one replied, and Stepney couldn't see anyone in the fog. But then, that strange shrill whistle rang out again. It echoed over the hills and through the valley. Stepney's driver and fireman ran up.
Did you hear that too?
We did. It sounded like it was coming from the station.
We'd better investigate.
Soon, Stepney slowly and carefully made his way through the fog towards the station. As he approached the clearing, he looked towards the station and gasped. Sitting in the middle of the crossing was a shadow of an engine. Cautiously, Stepney crept forward towards the gate and stopped before the engine.
Hello there? Are you lost?
The engine said nothing. It didn't even seem to notice Stepney.
Was that your whistle I heard from my shed? Can I help you?
Stepney felt a chill in his boiler as he looked closely at the engine. It didn't seem to have a driver or fireman, and its once brilliant paint was all rusted. There was even a name written on the engine's side tanks, but it was so dark that Stepney could barely read it.
Well, whoever you are you feeling okay? Is there something I can do for...
Stepney was shocked by what just happened, but before he could process everything...
That came from up the line! They need help!
At last, Stepney's wheels were unfrozen, and he ran back to look for the loop. Soon, Stepney had turned around and was rushing towards the crashing sound. He could only hope that the engine was alright as he plunged through the fog towards the ravine. But as Stepney emerged from the mist, there was no engine. Instead, there was Old Bailey, looking over the ravine.
Mr. Bailey, there was an engine running through here, and I heard a crash. Did you see where...
Hey, I've seen her, Stepney. She came and went just like always.
Like, always? So what do you mean?
It happens like clockwork, Stepney. The owl brings the fog, and the fog brings the old engine back around these parts.
Who was that old engine, sir?
They call her Lady of the Lake, or the Lady of Sodor. She vanished one foggy night, and was never heard from again after that. But every foggy night, she rides the rails again, trying to get home. But as we just heard with that crash, it always ends the same way.
Is there anything we can do to help her?
Oh, I'm afraid not. Not much we can do for her now, Stepney. Believe me, I've tried.
Stepney said no more. Instead, he respectfully puffed back to his siding, leaving Old Bailey to think in peace.
If only I could.
The next night, Stepney told the other engines all about his encounter. Some of them were speechless. Others just called it utter nonsense. But Henry looked especially uncomfortable.
Oh, I thought you made up that story about a ghost around the lake, Edward.
I never said I made it up, Henry. I kinda wish I had, though.
Stepney wished he had too. And now, whenever he visits Sodor, he takes care to never visit Hawin Lake at night ever again, lest he risk another ghostly encounter with the Lady of the Lake.